I love you.
I love you.
But do you really love me or do you just love the idea of me?
Mm. No, I really love you. The question is, did you fall in love with me at first sight or did you have to walk by again?
I wanted to walk by many, many times. But I'm glad that we took the time to really get to know one another and start our connection and our relationship as friends and then go even deeper from that standpoint. But what I want to kind of explore in this goofy little start is that whole perception of love at first sight and the notion of romanticized love, the storybook love versus love and the expansive nature of the energy of love.
Mm.
And if there is even a difference, like what is the difference or is there a difference? Because we hear so many stories of people talking about their soulmates, their twin flames. That came on to the scene like a full-on rager party, right?
Mhm.
For a while, everyone was talking about their twin flames. And then you have individuals who have never talked about that at all and have been married for my parents, right? They have been married for 55 years now. And 60 years.
Yeah,
Oh
60
my
years. I was
gosh, I
gonna
took
say, yeah,
5 years off of that
60
tally.
years.
They've been married for 60 years. And that is a life partnership, a deep life partnership. So, in our true human cognitive fashion, where we like to put things in little labeled boxes in our brain shelf, what is this that we put in these different labeled boxes? And is love something that we could put in a labeled box?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't feel so. And I'm using that. I'm actively correcting myself between think and feel for a reason,
Yeah.
because I feel like this is actually one of the small things that humans do, that we all do,
We
that
as
actually
people.
we as people, um, but it makes a much bigger impact than we realize. And that is that we think love instead of feel love. And when we look at romanticized love, love that we see in the movies, love that we read in a book, love that even like spiritual terms that we've heard, a lot of that is thought. It isn't true feeling. It isn't something we're feeling. We're thinking about it. We're daydreaming or night dreaming, just dreaming. I don't know.
Just dreaming
Just
in
dreaming in
general.
general. Yes.
Yeah.
And we're placing this view as if this is what it's going to look like and this is what it's going to be, and we don't realize that when we're processing in our brains about that, then we're getting into logic, we're getting into, unfortunately, and we start getting into expectation. We start getting into, through that expectation and those expectations not being met, we get into disappointment, and then from disappointment we get into victimhood, and from there we get into depression. There's so many triggers along this line, and then we almost start to get resentment, like we start to feel resentful against love when it never even started with real, authentic, true love in the first place. And so there's a complete disconnect. When we are attempting to think our feelings, that's when we get lost. That's when we get stuck. That's when we get pulled up into our head and then overthink and then overprocess. And we never actually really touch love. We never really dive into the expansiveness that it is. Because if and when we do, it's a whole other feeling, pun intended.